G'day folks, just a bit of a Friday update. I'm just cleaning up around the yard at the moment before it starts raining again. It's going to be raining fairly soon, but I figured I'd get all that done. I've been testing my high pressure air compressor at the LCD and that works quite well. Just a normal, I suppose you'd say an engine cleaner gun, modified of course, but still a degreaser sprayer. Yeah, it shoots 40 caliber total metal jacket range scrap bullets really well. These little bastards down here, they're just dug out of backstops or screened out of backstop dirt, and they come into the scrapyard every now and then, so I always grab a small handful just to play with. You have to wrap a patch behind them, a bit of cloth like that. It's a used patch, just to make it fit down the barrel, but it hits with authority, I can tell you now. It hits hard. Punching clean holes. That was starting at 150 psi. That was 300 psi. And they came back all the way up there. So they do. The backlight support material, diffuser material, is very flexible in this panel. Some of them are incredibly brittle. It's like acrylic, and you can shatter it just tapping it on the table, but this must be a fairly tough material. It's not breaking. Otherwise the bullet would go all the way through, hit the steel back and fall inside the panel. Yeah, we'll have a look at that later. At least a few test shots. I picked this up at the scrapyard today. It's not as good as I thought it would be. It's got a good power supply. It's got a Vantec 620 watt power supply in it. A couple of SATA hard drives, 160 gig SATA hard drives. Again, it's been thrown around pretty hard, so I don't think I'd trust the hard drives. The main board's a Gigabyte GA G1975X. It does not support proper Core 2 Duos or anything like that. It's got a Pentium D 3.0 in it. So, assuming it works, it's good for the parts bin, but that's about it. It's not something I'm going to put into service straight away. I was hoping it'd be better like a Core 2 Duo or a Core 2 Quad or something like that, but nope, it's not. And I don't have the rest of the case either. I'm missing both sides and half the front. So the case is scrap. I'm going to pull the board and all that's for spares. It looks like it's got 4 gig of RAM in it, which is also awesome. It's Corsair kit. I think it's 2 gig per stick, or maybe it might be 1 gig per stick for a 2 gig kit. Either way, I want to see if it boots up, and if it boots up it works, well, spare parts. If it doesn't, well, it's dead. So, yeah. And the other order of today, well, tidy up the backyard. Blue's all alone at the moment, got the micro out for roadworthy at the moment. But yeah, just cleaning things up, tidy all this up, and get a pallet load of engines ready for, I think the username Rustin48. I've been talking to him, and he wants to buy all this stuff, apart from that diesel engine. Just the Bayview engines, they're Kelly and Lewis flywheels. I'm just got to go over it, make sure everything's there. Pretty sure everything's there. It's all been put into tubs. If anything shows up, I'll just post it over as it is. They've got to go to WA, so it's a bit of freight involved. I'll put the casing covers back on, I think. The camshaft bushings, they go in there. Lifters, push rods. Everything's pretty much there. It just needs a good clean up and resurfacing in some cases. Piston rings, one piston ring broke, as I mentioned in the last video, I think. It's a long-term restoration project, but I don't have time for it, and if someone else, well, if Rustin can make use of it, that'd be awesome. Valves, well, that's not one of the original valves. I think that's a Briggs valve. It was just stuff I was going to adapt. That's the only valve I got out relatively intact, and it's still extremely pitted. These are just out of other engines. I was going to try and grind and fit them in as they were, but they're out of Briggs & Stratton's. I think that's a Holden 253 valve. Still roughly the same size. I'll throw them in with the kit. That's the valve guide. Both valve guides are identical. So if you duplicate that in whatever material you want, probably bronze or like this iron, duplicate it as a solid piece rather than a casting, it's a piece of cake. I could have turned these up in one afternoon at work, but I had other things to do. It's a Ford valve seal, stem seal. Fairly standard parts. It'd be really easy to make this thing work again, apart from all the building up and grinding, like getting the crank fixed. That was going to be the hardest bit, getting that crank fixed up. Or at least one of the hard bits. There's plenty of hard bits to this one. But yeah, the rockers are there, springs, spacer bushing that goes between them is there, dipstick is there. Yeah, we're pretty much right. Carburetor is there. That'll clean up quite nicely. It's got a little choke shutter or something like that. Yeah, that's a feed tube from the fuel tank. Yeah, it mounts like that. So you've got the line going in from the tank and away you go. Yeah, that's pretty good. No magnetos for anything here. That's the magneto drive for the Kelly and Lewis. It's is it 2.5? Nice engine, but I do not have time for that. I know a lot of people wanted to see me fix it up, but I just don't have time for it. These things here are more, I don't know what you'd do with them, but I've seen people restore even the worst wrecks, and these are particularly rare. These are really rare. Found that in a tub. That's the fuel primer. It is stuck, seized, but again, a bit of delicate TLC and it'll come good. Yeah, so it's got to go on a pallet. That's next. Clean all the crap out of it first. That's why they're over here. I'm just going to clean everything up, make sure everything's here, and away we go. Should be pretty good. I've had the little diesel running, that still works fine. Yeah, not a bad afternoon, at least until it rains. I better keep going with a bit of other project work, but yeah, it's all good. And that inspection cover is there. That magneto bracket also goes onto it. Yeah, that's about as far as I went with pulling them apart. That one seems to have a pretty good bottom end. It's not full of compost like the other one. That one there was pretty nasty. That's been open for years. This one here's only been open since I've had it, and it was lying with that side facing down, so no extra water or anything got in there. Likewise, the grease cup extensions are all there. Yeah, there's some pretty good bits. There's still some good salvageable bits in these. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll keep on with the projects and other bits and pieces. It's starting to look a bit better now. Starting to.